What's going on, guys? It's Steve, and today I wanted to give my comments and thoughts about the new information that we got about PlayStation VR today at GDC. Now, I wasn't at GDC, so I got my information from other sources, but I got more of the gist and more specific details I wanted to talk about. The main one, of course, the big one that everyone's been talking about, and most people were concerned about, is the pricing. PlayStation VR will be launching at $400. That's $50 more than the PlayStation 4 sells for right now. Though that's a little steep and going to be hard for the mass audience to accept, you got to remember that this technology isn't cheap. Oculus Rift is launching at $600. The other devices are coming out for more. $800 is the other number I've heard being thrown around. So, though it's hard when you're comparing this to a PS4, you have to remember that Sony did say that they're launching this almost as it's the console. That the PlayStation VR will be existing alongside the PlayStation 4, not replacing it and not, being an accessory to the other. Though they talk to each other, they want to keep them separate, which is the price. You also have to remember that these screens and technology aren't cheap. Having the headset, being comfortable, making sure the screens look good, making sure that they work together with your eyes, all this stuff is, cost effect. So $400 may seem like a lot now, but to compare to the technology that's inside it and other options out there, it is kind of fair. Unfortunately, pricing doesn't end there. When the PlayStation 4 launched, it launched with a PlayStation camera, a little rectangle that some people bought, other people pretty much ignored. People like me have it in a box somewhere. Well, you're going to have to dig those out if you're like me, because to use the PlayStation VR, you need the PlayStation camera. And the big hitter is the PlayStation camera will not be bundled with the PlayStation VR. So you will have to be dropping another $60 on top of the $400 just to get the VR working with your system. Now, the PlayStation camera is in stores right now. It's something you can go buy now. I've seen some used for $50. Amazon, I'm sure, has them for the regular price at $60. So, best advice is try to buy some these accessories you're going to need for PlayStation VR now. So when the time comes, that $400, doesn't hurt as much as it would alongside these other pricing. Talking about the pricing, most of these games that are going to be released on VR will work with the DualShock 4 you have. So you'll be okay on that aspect. But there are going to be other individual games that we've seen that will need the PlayStation Move that was released for PS3. Now again, pricing wise, it's a little weird on that because the PlayStation Moves you have now, if you bought them, which not many people did, should work on your PlayStation 4 and your PlayStation VR when it come out. But if you don't have those, Amazon has them right now for about $30 and the navigation one for $20. So you might want to chip in early and get those before the re-release comes and they're more expensive. Now, at this moment, I don't know, and they wasn't said today at the conferences and any information I read, if there's any difference between the PlayStation Move controls we have and that were released and the ones that will be coming out later. I'm pretty sure they're going to be a repackage, probably bundled with the navigation control and some sort of game. But if you're trying to, take that blow later on with, for money, maybe you might want to start buying some of these accessories now. Keep them to the side until the time comes. Now, the final thing about price, no games were priced. My guess, I'm not a speculator, I'm not an inside guy, these games are going to run from $30, probably actually lower, from like $25 to around $60, depending on who's making them, what the experience is, and what the true game is. If you're starting from scratch, this whole experience is going to be very costly, which is why, again, I advise that if this is something you want to look into, start buying some of this stuff now. Start getting these little checkpoints done, because it's going to be costly. PlayStation 4 is $350. PlayStation VR is $400. The camera is another $60. Controllers, if you want two, probably about another $60. The navigation's $25, and games running between $25 to $60, you're looking at over $900, almost $1,000 for this setup. If you're starting from scratch, that is. If you're starting from scratch. If you have some of this stuff, you might be able to work out, a lower price in total. So that was pretty much the big news that people were looking for, because the other VR headsets, they were announced, their price, and their release. Sony came out, of course, and had to announce their release date. Though many people speculated and assumed, and there was rumors of the PlayStation VR launching this summer, right now, unless there's a delay of any sorts, PlayStation VR is expected to launch October of this year, coming out in the fall, before the holiday season, stuff like that. Which, it's got to be more of a strategy, because holiday season, people got gift cards, Christmas time, people are more willing to ask this of other people. Selling stuff always in September, October, November, you get more sales in those times, usually, especially when it's a bigger deal like this. People are more inclined to ask for, one PlayStation VR gift for Christmas or what other holiday you celebrate than ask for a $400 system, $400 headset in the middle of the summer, in the springtime. Again, I was hoping it was coming out sooner, but I think that's just the more gamer part of me that wants to get my hands on this, to get me, try these out in stores until that time comes. But October sounds right. It sounds like, they are taking their time to make sure everything's perfect, making sure they have a smooth launch. Sony will probably want to make sure they have enough in stock for the people who want to purchase it. They want to make sure games are available. October is giving them time to breathe and then some. And you never know. October may even be too soon for Sony. And it could be delayed early into 2017. We don't know until the time comes. Now, one other main feature I wanted to talk about that wasn't officially announced by Sony, at least I couldn't find a statement, but certain people were kind of tweeting and talking about, so take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But from what I understand, there's a sort of mode for the VR headset that's compatible with games that aren't VR-specific games. Now again, this is all rumors, but some reliable people have been talking about it, where the game you put in will kind of play in a cinematic mode, where, it won't be a 360 complete experience, but I guess the screen brings a little bit more to the sides. You can maybe turn a little bit more. You can watch, go through your menus and stuff like that. Now, this is just rumors. Again, I haven't found a legitimate article that discusses this, but it's something that kind of sounds like Sony would do. Again, they want to justify the price, and they want to make sure that people buy this. So giving another way for people to play their games they love and already own is the definitely selling point. Again, I hope they announce something soon, or I can find a better article. If you guys know, let me know. But I want to find more. Is this a true fact, or is this a rumor that came off the floor somewhere? So now I want to kind of give it my wrap up impression about PlayStation VR. To me, it's still a wait game. This is an expensive and risky investment. VR isn't necessarily going to work for everybody. VR isn't necessarily going to sell for everybody. It kind of got me sold. I hate to be kind of lost at words for that, but I'm interested, and I'm definitely going to reserve my headset, the VR headset, and I have until October to make up my mind and hopefully get my hands on it at some sort of display at Best Buy, GameStop, anywhere. Hopefully someone soon has one where you can actually go, try, and truly experience it. Me being not a true gamer, but me being the gamer I am, I'm going to reserve my headset just in case that this does end up being something I want to be a part of. Other than that, I don't blame you guys if you want to wait. It's costly. Right now, the only things we've seen are kind of gimmicky, even though there was a Star Wars VR trailer experience. I guess if you were at GDC you could try, and I heard it's pretty interesting. People are giving good feedback on their games and things they're testing out. But when it comes to it, they are just trying small intervals of things. How does that translate to when you're in your room, got a couple hours to kill? Can you really sit with that headset on for that long? Do these games last for an experience that can handle that long? Or is this all designed for short bursts of things? Does it work for that? Because $400 just for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes of experience, that's a hard sell for me. I wouldn't recommend someone, yeah, spend $400 so you can play something for 30 minutes once a week and get nausea from it, get sick, get a headache, make your contacts dry up. Again, I haven't physically tried it. I'm not sure how people have been responding to it. On Twitter, I've seen a lot of people talking about it being comfortable, but again, after a while they want to take the headset off. It's a mixed bag. It's definitely a individual thing. There's no way that the PlayStation VR is going for the mass audience. It's got a specific audience. Who that is, we don't know yet. But hopefully that PlayStation VR is more. Hopefully it brings more to the table, and a lot of us don't feel like early adopters, early access people to something that will be just later down the road a more grand investment. I'm not sure. That's where I stand with it. I'm mixed up. I'm interested, and I'm still staying on all the information and anything that comes out about it. But I do have my reserves. I can't just want to go drop $400 on something I won't use. So that's where I'm at with that, guys. What do you guys think? Is the PSVR too expensive? Is it something you're interested in? You're going to ignore it? Or you're just going to wait, a year or two until you get a true experience from it? Let me know in the comments, guys, what you guys think about everything PlayStation VR. And as always, guys, thank you and take care.